If you're interested in opening your own barbershop, this video is definitely for you. Hey, my name is Marina and I owned a barbershop for over 8 years. It was #1 in our country. We've won multiple awards, and by now we've trained thousands of barbers into very successful careers. Today, from personal experience, I'll be sharing with you some of the pros and cons of owning your own barbershop business. So make sure to follow this channel for more information and videos like this. So the first big pro of having a barbershop business is the fact that haircuts are always in demand. Whether it's recession, whether the economy is booming, no matter what is happening, everyone always needs a haircut. So whenever someone thinks about opening a business, the #1 question they always ask is the service or product needed? And it's always yes. A barbershop is always needed, especially now. Men take care of themselves more than ever. They always want to look good. They always do Zoom meetings. They're always on social media. And so now more than ever, men are really taking care of how they look. So the barbering industry is very much in high demand. The second pro of having your own barbershop business is that you get to create a business and a barbershop of your dreams. So you get to create what the interior looks like. You get to pick up the chairs, the location. You get to choose what type of clients you want to service. You get to create your own brand. And for a creative, this is definitely a dream come true. I remember when I was creating my own barbershops and interior designs, and we were picking out everything from tools to color of the walls. It was one of the most amazing and fun projects that I've ever done. I loved every second of it. It is so much fun building something that you own from your imagination and making it come to life. The third pro of having a barbershop business is that you are creating an asset. An asset is something that generates you money even while you sleep. You don't have to be there. And so by having a business, there are so many benefits. You get to create your own schedule. You get to live life on your own terms. You get to decide what type of services you provide, who you hire, who you have on the team, and just having that freedom to take a day off without having to ask anyone for permission is the most amazing feeling. The next pro of having your own barbershop business is, of course, money. The better you run the business, the better you build your team, the more money you will make. Moreover, you get a huge tax benefit. So I'm not going to get into taxes. However, just know that if you have a business, you have a huge advantage over someone who gets paid salary or hourly. Next pro of having your own barbershop business is the fact that when you become a business owner, you start to attract like-minded people. So that means other business owners will want to talk to you more. They'll want to be friends with you. They'll want to be in your network. You guys get to exchange ideas. You get to pick each other's brains and help essentially grow each other's businesses. You can collaborate. And so just having that title of business owner, it comes with a lot of perks because you get to attract like-minded people who are also business owners, and you guys get to elevate each other, grow. And so that's what I've experienced, and I think that's one of the biggest pros of being a business owner, the amount of doors that get open to you. Now, let's talk about the cons of having a barbershop business. So the #1 con is you do have to have an initial investment because the chairs are pretty expensive. You're gonna have to get a barbershop space, which does require last month's rent, probably security deposit. And so you do have to have a good chunk of initial investment before you can open the barbershop. Right now, labor is expensive, so you do have to find a contractor. Also, depending where you live, permits might take a long time. For example, I live in Canada, in Toronto, and it is an absolute disaster how long we have to wait to get any permits done or get our licenses. The next con of having a barbershop business is that there's a lot of competition. The reason why there's so much competition is because to enter the barbershop world, there's very low entry level. Like, you don't need to go get a master's degree degree in anything or a PhD. Like any regular person, whether they have experience or not, can essentially open a barbershop business. So the competition is definitely high. I know where we live, there are areas in the city where there's literally like 5 barbershops just on one street. So overall, the competition is really high. Another con of having a barbershop business is how competitive it is to find talented barbers. Usually talented barbers, they don't stay for too long. They either move on and open their own barbershop, or they move on to somewhere where they get paid the highest. And so the overall industry has a very high turnover when it comes to staff. I remember consulting with a barbershop owner, and he said that every 4 months his entire staff just keeps changing and changing because it's so hard to keep them happy. Another con of having a barbershop business is that it does have a cap. So I remember when we started doing really well, we were growing like crazy, and then we hit a cap. The reason why we hit a cap is because our space, it's physical, and so it was maxed out. We at the time had 6 stations, and so once those 6 stations are all taken, there's nowhere else we can go. And so what started happening is we had a lot more clients that we could handle, and so we started churning down 20-30 clients per day simply because we were fully booked. And imagine how much money you're losing by not being able to accommodate all those people that wanted to come in. And so because it's a barbershop and it's a physical space, you are limited to that physical space, versus if you were to open another business, for example, an online business, it's unlimited, right? There's no physical space that you are confined to. So this is just definitely something to keep in mind. You will always hit a ceiling if you have a barbershop type of business. Another con for opening a barbershop business is if you are a barber and you're opening a barbershop. A lot of barbers don't realize this, but you need a whole different skill set in order to be a successful barbershop owner now. So before, like let's say you're a very talented barber, you're very booked up, you have so many clients, and you're thinking like, okay, I'm gonna open a shop and it's gonna be so successful, I'm gonna do everything this current owner is not doing. And the reality is, when you become a barbershop owner, your barbering skills are now less important than your business skills. So now you have to learn how to do financing, budgeting, marketing, accounting. You absolutely have to do business taxes. If the CRA or IRS comes after you or starts asking you questions, it's just not enough for you to say, oh, I didn't know, oh, I don't have the skill. Like, they don't care. You're a barbershop owner. It is now your responsibility to make sure all of that taken care of. On top of that, you and your clients are not going to be your priority anymore. Your priority is your team. And so now, because you're building a team of barbers, you are directly responsible for their success. So now the majority of your time will go into training others, giving them clients, right? And of course, you are going to be always at risk of those barbers walking out on you and taking everything that you've instilled in them, all the knowledge, all the clients that you've been giving them. And this unfortunately happens all the time. Having a barbershop business, it comes at such a huge risk. And I personally don't know one barbershop owner that didn't happen to, including myself. And so as a barbershop owner, you're gonna put in so much time and effort into team building, clients, and on a regular basis, you're just gonna accept the fact that a chunk of it will walk out just on a regular basis. Another con is you are confining yourself to one space. So what I find is a lot of barbers, they are creatives. They would love to travel, experience life, go to different countries, cut hair, right? When you open a barbershop, you cannot do that anymore. You usually sign a lease. The lease is anywhere between 5 to 10 years typically. And if you do get a physical space, you will most likely have to open a corporation. And so now you have this huge responsibility that you cannot just walk away from. Now, remember, this big responsibility gives you a huge benefit, right? Because you have a business running, you can now not depend on solely yourself to cut hair. And so you can still have your business running, making you money, and you can go travel and you can still go do other things as long as you still make sure you take care of the team and take care of the business there. So there's a con and a pro to being a barber that's a barbershop owner, and then not being a barber that's a barbershop owner. So the con of being a non-barber that owns a barbershop is that the staff, right? So the staff, you can't teach them skills, and so you're gonna have a higher turnover. Also, you're gonna have to spend more money on bringing in other educators to teach your staff members, and you will have to do that on a regular basis. But if you're a barber, you could just easily do that yourself. And so even if you do have turnover and some people leave and they quit, you can automatically hire someone else and train them right away instead of spending money on hiring someone else. Also, what I found from my personal experience is that barbers respect barbershop owners a little bit more when they're also barbers, because they understand what it's like to be on the floor, standing all day, dealing with clients, right? It's like they get each other, versus what I found with certain barbershop owners that are just business owners and they don't cut hair is they don't understand that. And what I've seen is they'll try to cram more clients. Another con of being a barbershop owner is your responsibilities as an owner, and you will not be understood. So sometimes it will feel lonely because you're not like a coworker. You're not like officially part of the crew, and you will never be officially part of the crew as long as you have the ability to fire someone, right? So as long as you have the ability to fire someone, they will never look at you as an equal. And that's just the reality. And so when you have a barbershop business, it does come automatically with a leadership role, and you have to act as a leader. Yes, you can treat them as team members. I've tried doing that so many times. However, they're still gonna have their own clique because of the dynamic. And so when you're a barbershop owner, you will always try your best. You will always do everything you possibly can, but just know that you're never gonna please everyone. You are never going to be understood unless it's another barbershop owner, because no one ever understands how hard it can be to own a business and run a business and having to do all of these things while keeping your staff happy. And so you just have to accept the fact that you will never be understood on a level that you wish you could be understood. So those are the pros and cons of owning a barbershop business. I really hope this video helped. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Was there anything that surprised you about what I mentioned? Thank you, and click on the next video because I think you're really going to enjoy it.